back. So we got, I think I left off on the no mixing, right? So now, after the no mixing part, let's go Genesis 4:16. And I encourage anybody watching the stream or anybody in the room who haven't seen any of these lessons, this is like the 5th part in this series, to go check out the other 4. Like I said, I kind of hit these first scriptures and all of the previous parts. Genesis 4:16.
Genesis 4:16. And Cain went out from the presence of Yahuwah and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city.
And he did what?
And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch.
That's good. Genesis 13:12.
Genesis 13:12. And Abram called in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent towards Sodom.
That's good. So I don't know if you tuned in last week and got the breakdown of that city life versus the life in the plains, or the country life. But it's a full breakdown on that. But the understanding is this, Zechariah 2:1. The understanding that the children of Israel were supposed to get from that story of Abraham. It's a lot of layers to the story of Abraham and Lot. So, but this is just one portion of it, that dwelling in the plains versus dwelling in the cities, right? Zechariah 2:1.
Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 1. I lifted up mine eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with the measuring line in his hand. Then said I, whither goest you? And he said unto me, to measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof. And behold, the Malachim that talked with me went forth, and another Malachim went out to meet him. And he said unto him, run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls.
As what?
As towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I, saith Yahuwah, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and I will be the esteem in the midst of her.
So the thing about the cities is, when we talk about dwelling in the cities were particularly had walls and gates to protect from intruders and invaders. But the original plan, or the original idea, was that the Most High was supposed to be for our protection, a wall of fire round about, and be the esteem of the city. So we wouldn't have even needed walls and gates, right? Hebrews 11 and verse 8.
Hebrews 11 and verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in a land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in a tabernacle with Isaac and Jacob, and heirs with them of the same promise.
So they weren't dwelling in cities, they was dwelling in tents or tabernacles. Go ahead.
For he looked for a city which have foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim.
So that's the city that Abraham went to dwell in. So the understanding that Moses was trying to deliver to the children of Israel was that Yah was supposed to be our protector, right? So just remember, these people were actually fearful when they left out of Egypt. They thought that Pharaoh was gonna get them. Then when they went and scouted out the land, they was like, man, these people too big for. They was very fearful. So the understanding that Moses was trying to instill in the people was that the Most High got us. He gonna protect us. He gonna be our walls and our protection and our salvation and our redeemer and all of the above. Let's go Genesis, because the next portion was the covenant. So in Genesis 17, we go through and we see where the covenant was established with Abraham and his offspring from there on out. The significance of that is in Exodus 24 and verse 1. Exodus 24 and 1.
Exodus chapter 24, verse 1. And he said unto Moses, come up unto Yahuwah, you and Aharon, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. Mm-hmm. And Moses alone shall come near Yahuwah, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah hath said will we do.
Will we what?
Will we do.
So they agreed to all the words that the Most High said, right? Verse 4.
And Moses wrote all the words of Yahuwah, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and the 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahuwah. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood and he sprinkled on the altar.
Uh-huh.
And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahuwah have said will we do, and be obedient.
Then what Moses do?
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah have made with you concerning all these words.
So the covenant was sealed with blood, right? So we read, like I said, through all the first portions of Genesis, right? You have Adam and Eve's story, you have Cain and Abel's story, you have Noah and the flood, then you get into Abraham and his faith and the covenant, right? So the after the covenant was confirmed in Exodus 24, right? In chapters, and at the end, matter of fact, let's read the end of chapter 24. Exodus chapter 24, verse 15.
Exodus 24:15. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount, and the esteem of Yahuwah abode upon the mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days, and the seventh day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud, and in the sight of the esteem of Yahuwah was like the devouring fire on the top of the mount, in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up into the mount, and Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights.
So immediately after the children of Israel came out of Egypt, right? They went into the wilderness. The Most High gave them a proposal in Exodus 19. Then he laid out the commandments in Exodus 20. Then Exodus 21 all the way through 23, he laid out the statutes, the judgments, and all of this stuff, right? And then in Exodus 24, they agreed to the covenant. And Moses was giving them all of these different stories and narratives from Genesis, right? So immediately after they agreed to the covenant, Moses went up on a mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. So from Exodus 25 all the way to Exodus 31, you have where the Most High was giving Moses instruction on how to build the tabernacle, on the Ark of the Covenant, on the priest's office and how they should dress. All that's what you got from Exodus 25 all the way to 31 is the instructions that the Most High gave to Moses. Moses was up there for 40 days and 40 nights, right? So the next story that we got is, well, it's the continuation of Abraham and Lot. So where we ended was Abraham and Lot. The Most High established a covenant with Abraham. Then Abraham and Lot parted ways, right? Abraham dwelt in the plain, and Lot dwelt in the city. I know Quad broke down some stuff about the city and the country, the different paths and all that stuff last week. So this is a different, I won't say take, but angle to that same Sodom and Gomorrah story and why it was relevant and significant for the children of Israel coming out of Egypt at this important time. Y'all with me? Okay. So let's start at Psalm 78 and verse 1. Who was Moses? Let's see how I want to work this. Who was Moses a reflection of in the Old Testament? Who was he? Mashiach, right? So when the prophecy about Mashiach came about, it said he was going to be a prophet like unto Moses, right? Meaning Moses was priest and king, and he judged the people, like all of these things. That's the same thing from Mashiach, right? One of the things that Mashiach is, I won't say famous for, but very, very known for is speaking in parables, right? So that's when I read Genesis now from this point of view, I read it as real stories with the kind of a parable feel to it, right? So we got, with Mashiach, we got the parable of the sower. We got the parable of the wheat and the tares. We got the parable of the 10 virgins. The parable is so many different, the prodigal son, right? So many different parables. Genesis reads that way and is really relatable to the children of Israel in that way. That's why what I'm saying is the children of Israel came out of Egypt, and that's really where the recording of time began. Then they started getting all of these stories from Genesis. Real stories, but with a real lesson behind them. So we're going to get the part of what Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot and all of these different, we're going to see as we go along. I'm trying to break it down, but we're going to break it down even more as we go along, so I don't get too confusing. But Psalms 78, verse 1.
Psalm 78 and verse 1. Mashil Asaph, give ear, O my... Oh, my people, to my law, incline your ears to the words of my... Hold on a second. All right. Oh, my people, to my law, incline your ears to the words of my mouth, and I will open my mouth in a parable.
In a what?
In a parable.
Uh-huh.
And I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers told us. We will not hide them from their children, shewing to the generations to come the praises of Yahuwah and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that this generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in Elohim and not forget the works of Elohim, but keep his commandments, and might not be of their fathers a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their hearts aright, whose spirit was not steadfast with Elohim.
So these parables, get Proverbs 1 and verse 1. So these parables and dark sayings were supposed to be handed down to their children and then their children's children so that they would gain faith in the Most High. These dark sayings, but they were supposed to get edification from these dark sayings. So now there's lesson after lesson after lesson. Like literally, we about to read probably a lot of the same scriptures from last week, but get a whole different understanding, right? Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1.
Proverbs 1 and 1. Proverb of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instructions, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instructions of wisdom, justice and judgment and equality, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel.
So it's saying to know wisdom and instruction and perceive the words of understanding, like it's using wisdom, understanding, and knowledge several times, right? Verse 6.
To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings.
So the proverb of Solomon, it said these proverbs is to understand the proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Go ahead.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instructions.
That's good. So, like I said, we understand that Yah worked heavy with like symbolism and patterns, and we know that all the things that was written and spoken to the children of Israel when they came out of Egypt would have been for a particular reason. So we're going to see what was the reason that they got the story of Lot with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? All that to come to this. So let's go Genesis 13 and verse 7. Matter of fact, let's go Genesis 13 and verse 11. Verse 10.
Genesis chapter 13, verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plains of Jordan, that it was well watered.
It was what?
Well watered. Everywhere.
So understand what Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities of the plain looked like. So it was well watered everywhere. Now, that was really important if you don't have working plumbing. Do y'all know that? Okay. Go ahead.
It was well watered everywhere before Yahuwah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of Yahuwah, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar.
So look at what they compared it to. Like the Garden of Eden, and as you come through Egypt, through Zoar, like when you leaving through Egypt and coming to Zoar, it looked a certain way, right? Go ahead.
Then Lot chose him all the plains of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked.
They were what?
They were wicked and sinners before Yahuwah exceedingly.
So they wasn't just regular wicked. They wasn't just regular sinners. They was exceeding wicked and sinners, right? So now we got a few people and roles that's being played, right? We got the Most High. We got Abraham. We got Lot. We got the men of Sodom. We got Lot's daughters. We got Lot's son-in-laws. We got Lot's wife. And we're going to see, as we read through the story, what role all of these different people play, right? I want to see if y'all can walk with me through these stories, right? Genesis 18 and verse 20.
Genesis 18 and verse 20. And Yahuwah said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it which is come unto me, and if not, I will know.
Stop. So, what did this sound like? What is this verbiage? He say because the sin of the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down. What other cry would the children of Israel be familiar with that caught the Most High's attention? Right? Go ahead. Verse 22.
And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abram stood yet before Yahuwah.
What did Abram do?
Stood yet before Yahuwah.
So these men were coming to do what? They were coming to see for themselves and judge Sodom, right? And who stood there before Yahuwah? Read it again.
And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abram stood yet before Yahuwah.
Abram, right? Go ahead.
And Abram drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within.
Do y'all know what peradventure mean? No, that makes sense. I get it. Like in context clues, yeah. But no, it mean perhaps. Like suppose. Right? Go ahead.
Perhaps there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? There be far from you to do after the manner to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Yahuwah said,
this is Abraham speaking directly to the Most High, right? What role is Abraham playing? What? He's interceding on behalf of the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Go ahead.
Shall not the judge of the earth do right? And Yahuwah said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then will I spare all the place for their sakes. And Abram answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto Yahuwah.
Behold, now I have done what?
I have taken
upon me, right? He's putting what? He's putting this burden on himself, right? So who would Abraham be in a parable? Who do you think Abraham is? Right? Go ahead.
Behold, I have taken upon me to speak unto Yahuwah, which am I but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, If I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, Peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for the 40's sake. And he said unto him, Oh, let not Yahuwah be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto Yahuwah. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he says, I will not destroy it for the 20's sake. And he said, Oh, let not Yahuwah be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he says, I will not destroy it for the 10's sake. And Yahuwah went his way, and as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, Abram returned unto his place.
That's good right there. John 17 and verse 8. Because we agreed on what role Abraham was playing, so I want to grab this. Go ahead.
John chapter 17 verse 8. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me.
Now this Mashiach talking to the Most High. Go ahead.
For I have given unto them the words which thou gave me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from you, and they have believed that thou didst send me. And I pray for them, I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them.
That's good. So when we start reading that first part, when Abraham began to intercede on the part of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And he say, will you burn up the righteous with the wicked, right? In the end, when Mashiach is given the parable of the wheat and the tares, what did he say? Let them grow together. Then we separate them, and then we bind up the wheat and we bind up the tares separately, right? It's like the same thing, kind of idea that's being given to the children of Israel, but it's given to them way back there, right? This is why this story is significant, because Moses is giving them this same understanding that Mashiach was given. However, they didn't really understand it, and that's what we read in Proverbs. It said that the wise understand, and people of good wisdom, they will understand these dark sayings and these parables, and then get into the part where it says, fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge, right? You're supposed to be able to understand these things, right? But it begins with reverencing the Most High. If you don't, then you won't even get it. You won't even understand this stuff. Same way when Mashiach was dropping it, Moses was giving it to the children of Israel with these same stories that we've been reading time and time again, but just never really paid attention to them from this particular angle, right? Let's grab Genesis 19. We're going to start with Sodom and Gomorrah, with Lot being in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Genesis 19 and verse 1. And there came 2 Malachims to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground, and he said, Behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the streets all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. And before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round about, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came in to you this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. And behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you. Do ye to them as it is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof.
So, Lot, was he doing the right thing by protecting the 2 men? Yeah. But what about giving his daughters? Is that the right thing? So, Lot is kind of, he a little good and a little, right? Right? What is he? Yeah. He like, right? He's straddling the fence, so to speak, right? Verse 9.
And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn.
What did they say?
This one fellow came in to sojourn.
So what are they saying? They telling Lot, man, get out the way. This dude came to sojourn, meaning Lot was a stranger. He was a foreigner that came here to live. And then what?
And he will need be a judge?
So now you come from outside. You a foreigner. You came here to live. Now you gonna judge us, right? What do that sound like? What did that sound like? Hold it. Grab Genesis 41 and verse 39.
Genesis 41:39. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph.
Unto who?
Unto Joseph. For as much as Elohim have shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you are. You shall be over my house. According unto the words shall all my people be ruled.
Be what?
All my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than you.
Okay, Exodus 12 and verse 40.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
So understanding that the children of Israel was foreigners in Egypt, right? But then when Joseph took over, they became the judges. This is the narrative that we getting. So Lot, they saying, yo, this dude is a foreigner. Now you gonna judge us? Let's go back to Genesis 19 verse 9 and see what they say after that.
Genesis 19:9. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and we will need be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them.
Now we're going to deal worse with you. What happened to the children of Israel after Pharaoh died? They got dealt with worse, right? Right? So we looking at Lot, right? Who would Lot be? In this parable, in this dark saying, who is Lot? A foreigner in the land who became judge. Now we're going to deal worse, right? He was being saved, right? Who would Lot be? Yeah. Right? We're going to see it a little bit further. Go verse 10.
Verse 10. But the men put forth their hands and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness.
They did what?
Smote the men of the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door.
So now it is high time that we wake out of sleep, right? Because what happened to the children of Israel? What were they stricken with? Blindness, right? So really, the people of Sodom is also who? Israel, right? Go ahead.
And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters? And whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place before the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah have sent us to destroy it.
So the Most High sent these messengers to destroy or to judge the land of Sodom, right? Genesis 15 and verse 13. Hold that. We're gonna live in Genesis 19. So just keep your finger there. Genesis 15, 13.
Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Will I what?
Will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out.
Shall they what?
Come out with great substance.
Good. Go back. Let's go back. Verse 14. Genesis 19:14. If I'm jumping around too much or going too quick, let me know.
Genesis 19 and verse 14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for Yahuwah will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-laws.
So they mocked Lot, right? So grab hold that. Grab Matthew 24 and verse 36.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the Malachims of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall it also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came.
That's good. So they didn't. The son-in-laws mocked Lot, not understanding that they was about to get wiped out. They didn't even get it. So they mocked them, and it's the same narrative over and over again. Same thing happened with the flood. It says it's going to be the same as the coming of the Son of Man. When he come and judge the land, it's going to be the same thing, right? Let's go back. Genesis 19, verse 15.
Genesis 19:15. And when the morning arose, then the Malachim hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters.
So if somebody say, get out of here, the building about to blow, you're going to be like, you going to linger or you going to leave?
How you know that? Who told you that?
Like, he already see the stuff that they doing. They struck the men with blindness. They're actually protecting him, and they telling him, look, come on, take your wife and your daughters and get up out of here, because we about to judge this place. And it says while he lingered, they had to grab him by the hand and say, boy, come on up out of here. Right? Why? Why? What do that say about Lot? He enjoyed it. He didn't really want to leave. He had, first of all, you had to understand how Lot was raised. He was raised in Abraham's house. He left with Abraham, which meant he had some understanding of what and who the Most High was, right? But he chose to go dwell in wickedness, and he enjoyed it, right? It showed that he had a little good, a little bad. He was kind of lukewarm and straddling the fence. He wanted to leave and be saved, but at the same time, he kind of enjoyed the wickedness. Look, remember when the 2 men came, where did it say Lot was? Was he in the house like, man, I can't deal with this? Where was he at? He was in the street. Lot was outside. Right? Verse 16, verse 17.
Verse 17. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for your life.
So he told them, escape for your life, right? So he told them to leave. Go ahead.
It came to pass when he brought them forth abroad that he says, escape for your life. Look not behind you.
Look what?
Look not behind you.
Don't look back. Don't look back. Escape for your life and don't look back. Go ahead.
Neither stay thou in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest thou be consumed.
Look, don't just leave here, because remember, they were in what? Sodom. But it was 5 cities in the plain. So he said, get out of here. Don't stay in the plain. Go to the mountain, right? So when I was preparing this lesson, this part I didn't even catch this part until like afterwards. And I was just thinking back on it. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Remember so Lot is being saved or rescued, right? So just understand, when the children of Israel when they receive salvation, you're supposed to go where? If you receive salvation, where do you go when you die? Where? You go where? Say it again. Say it loud so I can hear you. You go where? To the kingdom, right? Where is the kingdom? Where is the kingdom where we gonna dwell at?
In a what?
It's on a what? It's on a what? Where did they tell him to flee to? They told him to go to the mountain. Don't stay in the plain. Go to the mountain. Let's see what Lot said. Right? You supposed to, when we coming to save you, we coming to rescue you, you supposed to leave and go to the mountain, right? Let's see what Lot said.
And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my master. Behold, now your servant have found grace in your sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercies, which thou hast shewed unto me in saving my life, and I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil take me and I die.
Boy, we just saving you from certain death. And you telling me you don't want to go to the mountain. We about to blow this whole thing up, and you telling me you don't want to go to the mountain. Why? He liked it. He didn't even want to go. They telling you this is right. This is so understanding who Lot is. You got, so like I said, in this parable, you got several different layers. So you got the people of the land was really the children of Israel. You got Lot, who is really the lukewarm people, right? He knew the good. He had some good in him, but he also had some bad in him. He also liked the street. He didn't want to leave, right? And then they told him, like, yo, we rescuing you. Flee into the mountain. And he like, oh, please don't. Something going to happen to me if I try to go, right? So he lacked a little bit of faith. But then, Pete, what else he say? Where we still in verse 20.
Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one.
So let's let me leave from this city and go into this other little city, right? I don't want to go to the mountain. I just want to go into this other little city. It's just a little one. It ain't bad as Sodom. Yeah, it is. It is. Right? But it's just showing you that when you lukewarm in nature, you had the opportunity of being in the first resurrection. Right? But when you lukewarm in nature, what happens? What happens? You don't make it through the first resurrection. You got to go through the, right? Go ahead. Verse 21.
And he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken.
So they granted it to him. Go ahead. Going into the city. I ain't going to overthrow that one for what you said. Go ahead.
Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither.
So he said, hurry up, go there, because I can't do what I came to do until you go. And they trying to hurry up and get this done, because they said before this cry reached the Most High again, we got to wipe this place out. Go ahead.
Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. Mm-hmm. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar.
So Zoar what the word Zoar means insignificant. That's why he said, let me flee into this city, because it's just a little one, right? That's why the name of it is Zoar. So if you, I ain't even pulled none of this stuff, but when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the 5 cities of the plains, when they went to war, and Abraham had to rescue Lot, right? Once before, remember? He rescued him before. Still the same, Abraham playing the same role as Mashiach, Lot still playing the same role as children of Israel, right? Verse 24.
Verse 24. Then Yahuwah rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahuwah out of Shamayim. And he overthrew those cities and all the plains and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground.
So, matter of fact, keep going. No, matter of fact, stop. So, what Moses is what Moses is also trying to tell the children of Israel is the same thing that happened to Adam, the same thing that happened to Cain. Once they committed sin and got kicked out of the land, what happened to the land? It was also made desolate. Same thing that's going to happen to Israel if y'all continue to commit these atrocities, right? If you continue to commit sin and wickedness, is not only are you going to get kicked out of the land, even though a remnant is going to be spared, not only are you going to get kicked out of the land, but the land is also going to be desolate, right? And we see the evidence of that till now, right? Verse 26.
Verse 26. But his wife looked back.
But she did what?
His wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt.
Hold that. Let's get Luke 17 and 29.
Luke what?
17 and verse 29. Because the wife looked back. She was being rescued, and she looked back.
Luke chapter 17 and verse 29. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from Shamayim and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And that he is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember Lot's wife.
Do what?
Remember Lot's wife.
So don't look back. When it's time to flee, don't look back. When it's time to leave, don't look back. When you're leaving from the former self, don't look back. So what does Lot's wife represent? I would say probably the people who backslide. Right. Somebody who backslides, right? Verse 33.
Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it.
So if she would have been able to leave that old life behind, she would have preserved her life. But because she couldn't leave it behind, she lost her life, right? Ephesians 4 and verse 20. Yeah, exactly. And then she turned into a pillar of salt. And that's what salt does, preserves. 4 and verse 20.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 20. But ye have not so learned Hamashiach, if so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahusha, that ye put off.
That you what?
That you put off concerning the former conversations, the old man.
The former behaviors. Put off the former behaviors, the old man. Go ahead.
Which is corrupt, seeing according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed.
Be what?
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after Elohim is created in righteousness and true holiness.
So the new man has been created in righteousness and true holiness. So if your walk is not a representation of righteousness and true holiness, and you've been in this walk for a considerable amount of time, what does that reveal about you? On the verge of backsliding, right? Go ahead.
Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil.
I think that part get looked over. I think that people lump in, don't let the sun go down on your wrath, and neither get placed with the devil. I think people lump those things in together, that if you let the sun go down on your wrath, you giving place to the devil. These is different principles. He's saying don't lie no more, be angry and sin not, and don't give place to the devil. What does it mean to give place to the devil? What does that mean? No opportunity, right? When we read scripture, when it say like, don't let your good be evil spoken of, right? Which means that you might be doing a good thing, but the representation of it looks poor. It looks like it's not righteous. You feel me? The appearance is not right, right? You might be doing like we was witnessing these women in the, right? Come on now. So, but it say neither give place to the devil, meaning don't give the enemy any opportunity to get a foothold, right? No opportunity. And I feel like that go hand in hand with the things that we was discussing yesterday as brothers. We had some discussions. And it's like seizing the opportunity to resolve an issue rather than sweeping it under the rug and letting it go by. Because if you sweep it under the rug and you let it go by, you allow things to linger, and then tension builds, right? You're giving the enemy an opportunity to create separation. However, if you confront the situation and you talk about it, then it says that you gain a brother, right? If you go to your brother and he hear you, it says that you gained a brother, right? This is the way that we should handle things, right? Because if you don't handle it in that way, you give the enemy an opportunity. You're giving him place. You're giving him space to get a foothold, and in that foothold, it's going to create more tension and more drama. So you don't allow that space to even happen, right? So we got to really be, aware of these situations and be more conscious and more proactive when it comes to this kind of thing. Let's go back to Genesis 19, verse 27. Verse 27.
Genesis 19 and verse 27. And Abram got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahuwah.
Where did Abraham stand? He stood where? Right? He's, like I said, he playing the role of intercessor, right? Go ahead.
And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace.
That's good. Hold that. Let's get Psalms 107 and verse 33. Dang, I left out that Revelation joint.
Yep.
The smoke of the furnace, my bad. I think it's like Revelation 19. Psalm 107 and verse 33.
Verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
Psalms 107 and verse 33. He turns rivers into wilderness, and the water springs into dry ground, a fruitful land into barrenness. For the wickedness of them that dwell therein.
For the what?
For the wickedness of them that dwell therein.
So for the wickedness of the people that dwell in the land, he said he turned fruitfulness into barrenness, and water springs into dry ground, and rivers in the wilderness. So remember what it said about Sodom and Gomorrah. It was well watered, like what? Like the Garden of Eden. And then how it looked, it said, and remember when Moses said, he said, it looked like Zoar when you come out of Egypt. Remember, Zoar was the lone city that survived. He's saying it all looked like that prior to the Most High burning it down with fire and brimstone. Go back and verse 29. Genesis 19:29.
Genesis 19:29. And it came to pass when Elohim destroyed the cities of the plain that Elohim remembered Abraham.
That he did what?
He remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. And when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt.
And he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. So it say that the Most High remembered Abraham. Remember, the children of Israel only received salvation due to what? How do the children of Israel receive salvation? Through the sacrifice of who? Mashiach, right? So look, it say when he destroyed the cities, it say what? The Most High remembered Abraham. Right? Abraham is, so let's grab Matthew 13 and 36. Because I want to show y'all how this reads. It's actually earlier on in Matthew 13, you got the parable of the I believe the parable of the sower. Matthew 13 and 36. But this is when he gonna break it down. This is the breakdown of it.
Matthew 13:36. Then Yahusha sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares and the field.
So he want to know, they want him to give them the understanding of the parable that he just gave, right? Of the tares in the field. Go ahead.
He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man.
So Mashiach is the one that sowed the good seed. Go ahead.
The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the Malachims. And therefore the tares are gathered and burned into the fire. So shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdoms all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. And he shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There it shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of theirs, and the kingdom is theirs. Father, who have ears to hear, let him hear.
So he says, he who have ears to hear, let him hear. Because they asking, like, break down this parable for us. They didn't understand the parable nor the dark saying, but just showing y'all this is consistent throughout Scripture. And that's how Genesis is beginning to read, like different parables that break down and provide different principles for the children of Israel. Like, it wasn't like, I can't say that Genesis wasn't written. It wasn't written directly for us in this day and time. It was written particularly for them then. This is what you need to do because you going into the land. Remember when Mashiach breaking down these parables, he telling them what y'all need to do for when the Son of Man return. When the Son of Man return, you got to be like this and like that because this how he coming. We going to do it like this, and he breaking down all these parables. Moses is giving these parables to tell these people how you got to live right now. Going into the land right now. And Genesis so far is breaking down as if it's like parable after parable after parable after parable to make it relatable to the children of Israel. So much so is this particular parable is talking about the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's go to Exodus 32. Because remember when I first started, at the end of chapter 24, Moses went up on a mountain. And he was up on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, right? And in 25 through 31, he was given all the instruction on what the tabernacle should look like, what the Ark of the Covenant should look like, what the priest's supposed to do, what all of these different things, right? So during this was happening during this 40-day, 40-night period, particularly for Moses. This is the instruction. He was given the 10 Commandments, right? Right in 32, this is when Moses is still on the mountain. Let's read verse 1.
Exodus 32:1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount.
So when it say that Moses delayed to come down on the mountain, it don't really say how long he delayed before they started. It just say when people saw that Moses delayed, it could have been a day. Remember, they saw all this stuff happening up on the mountain, and Moses just went up. And they, in their mind, they could have been thinking, okay, well, he should be right back, right? But he was gone for 40 days. Who knows how long before they started? It could have been on the second day. It could have been on the 40th day. Don't know, but I don't think it really say. But go ahead.
And when people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we want not what has become of him.
So let's just say, for argument's sake, the whole 40 days have passed. So these people just got rescued from the land of Egypt. All of these plagues just happened. They just got led out by Moses, right? They just saw all the thunderings and the fire on top of the mountain. They just witnessed all this stuff with their eyes. They just got all of this writing about what happened to Adam and Eve, about what happened to Cain and Abel, about what happened to Noah and the flood, about what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. And not even 40 days later, they all the way into idolatry. Make us a god. It couldn't even last. They witnessed this with their own eyes and couldn't even last 40 days. They had to get these writings. They had to get this stuff every single day. These people was terrible. They couldn't even last 40 days. Moses was gone for 40 days. First thing they said was, man, make us a god. What sense do that make? Make us a god to lead us. Here, take our stuff and you make us one.
And they know they just walked on dry ground through the Red Sea. That's the biggest thing right there. You walk from this place, from Egypt to Saudi Arabia, on dry ground.
Like miracle after miracle after miracle. That's why the scripture says like increased are those who have seen and believe, but much more are the people who believe and have not seen. Just think of what level of faith that we have to have, having never witnessed none of these, like everybody have witnessed something. I would say that have some type of experience with the Most High, right? But to have witnessed, just imagine if you seen this stuff with your own eyes. Could anybody tell you anything? Nobody could tell me nothing if I seen that. Like it's not even a question, right? But just understanding like how much greater it is for us who have not witnessed none of these great things, but we still believe just based on the writing alone. So that in my opinion, that shows that there has to be something in us that even would have us on that level to where we even entertain it. There have to be something, because we all got people outside of this walk, and they don't give 2 seconds of thought about any of this stuff, and it's stuff that's just so important to us. Like, think of how important and how big of a role that these scriptures play in your life. And it's people who really don't care at all. Don't care at all. But the fact of the matter is, if we lean more toward that side, like how Lot is, and not more like how Abraham is, then you see the difference, right? It's very difficult to let go of this stuff. To let go of the stuff that, like, oh, when we was in, it's hard, especially when you're around that more than you're around this. If you're around wickedness more than righteousness, what did they say that bad company corrupts good manners or something like that? Like, you'll find yourself starting to lean more into this way because you're around it more, right? So just understanding, like, Abraham communed with the Most High regularly, but Lot was surrounded by wickedness. So eventually his righteousness became lukewarm. So this is the message that Moses is delivering to the children of Israel. You got to be this way on this side of the fence, and don't look back. Once you get out, don't look back. Don't look back to that former man, that former behavior, the last person you was. You got to be different. Once you become different, you got to stay different. You really have to set yourself apart. So when you go into the land and you got all these other people, don't mess with them. Don't do what they do. Even though you're a foreigner in their land, don't do what they do, because it's going to cause your heart to be pulled away from the Most High. He's telling you directly. If you make league and covenant with these people, your heart is going to be pulled away from me. And it's no ifs, ands, or buts. The word of the Most High don't come back void. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you look at your own walk and you examine your own self, and if that's the position that you're in and you find yourself doing some things that's lukewarm at times, you really need to pay close attention, examine yourself, and make sure that you're correcting those things. You feel me? Y'all understand what I'm saying? It makes sense. Right. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Love it. You hate it. Part 6, the continuation.
Part 6 is coming. Part 6 is coming eventually. One of these weeks. Did it make sense? Did what I was saying make sense? Okay. All right. Any questions on the... No questions? All right. Nate? Oh, go ahead. All right. Hold on, he gonna bring you the mic.
It kind of seems like your lesson today was kind of like identifying, like you say, with the wheats and tares, and then the 1/3 and the 2/3, right? Because if you examine the Sodom and Gomorrah situation, right, and how many times Abraham had to keep coming to him, say, 50, you can find 50. All right, what about 40? All right, what about 30? What about 10? It just seems like it's like you need some in certain situations for people to get it, because it seems like for our people, we learn from the deliberate and the hard-headed, right? Like, for example, when Moses came down after them 40 days and seen they made a gold calf for bull, Moses just started wiping people out, just started killing them.
Yeah, I didn't even get to that part, yeah.
Okay.
No, you good. No, I'm saying we didn't, because otherwise we'd have had to read that whole chapter, but go ahead.
But the point I'm kind of making is going back to, like, what Christ was saying about the wheat and the tares, and how you were saying today, basically, like, with Sodom and Gomorrah situation, with the situation with, like, Moses and the bull, situation with Noah and the flooding of the boat, right? He warned them for how many years and was telling them consistently how many years, and they didn't take heed. It was years. He was consistently preaching to them, telling them for years, and they never took heed. It was kind of like the same situation. So it's kind of like you need dummies. Not saying you need dummies, but somebody's going to be a victim to understand you know, how intense some things are. You're going to have victims.
It ain't for everybody.
Yeah, it ain't for everybody.
It ain't
You're
for
going to have
everybody.
victims in order to show you how intense and serious this thing is. You know what I'm saying?
But even if you think about it like this, remember when when Abraham was interceding on the behalf of Sodom and Gomorrah, he said, if it's at least 10, will you spare the place? Right? It wasn't like, will you lead the 10 out? He said, would you spare the place? He said, I'll do it for the 10. Did it get spared? That means it wasn't even 10.
That means Lot's other children that stayed, all the rest of them was considered what? Wicked. So when you see in Lot, just put it in modern terms, is no different than getting up, chasing your dreams and moving to New York, or moving to California, or to moving to anywhere Atlanta because you think it's a better opportunity. That's what Lot was caught up in. Oh, it's lit there. I can become this. It's all kind of money and stuff to be made there. Same exact thing. But if somebody got up and moved to New York, we wouldn't think of it in like, yo, that's exactly what it is. It's the city stuff. That's what it is.
Just a couple of announcements. June 1st is Shavuot, Pentecost, Feast of Weeks. So we will be here at 2 on that. It's a Sunday. So 2 o'clock, we'll be here for the Feast of Weeks. The pop-up shop has been changed to July 13th. So the We pop-up shop is still going on. We just have changed the date. I'm sorry, I may have announced it wrong last week, but it has been postponed. And then we are having a fish fry on June 8th. So the week after Pentecost, that following week, we're going to have a fish fry. So we'll be here. We want you to invite everybody out. If you have invites, if you have the most invites, there's a prize that you can win. So I'm not going to say what it is this week, but I want to start inviting people first. So invite your people out, invite your friends out. Huh? Yes, it's a really good prize. I'll let y'all know next week what it's going to be. But so we're going to have that there. And so just begin to share. The flyer will be out pretty soon. Begin to share that. Again, if you want to, did the number change for the VIN? Is it the new number? Yeah. So the new number to text for it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it'll be on the chat, and then I will put it in the box here in just a minute. The live stream. And then still Tabernacles. We're getting ready for that. More information is coming. Just begin, again to get your stuff ready, and to set some things aside to be in preparation, because it'll be here pretty soon. We're already halfway through May, so October will be here pretty soon. And just remember to continue to pray for one another. It's a lot going on with some people, but Yah is able to hear our prayers and to give us favor. So we're going to continue to pray for those on the prayer list. And also remember your dues, $20 a month per adult. If it helps defray the cost of some of the things that we have going on. And that is pretty much it. Thank you. I'm sorry.
We just a little note for the Little Lights We Shop. It's for the children. We postponed it for lack of sign up, so we need the children to sign up for the Little Lights We Shop. If they want to make bracelets, if they want to bake cupcakes or cookies, if they want to sell whatever they do, we want to encourage the children to be business owners and to, go out on their own adventure. I think we got somebody who does photography. I was telling Sakari to tell Kyle to come out and take some photos and sell them. Get the little kids involved. The other thing is we're also at the at the Little Lights We Shop. There's going to be an art auction. So you know how the little kids are always making art. Bring their art. It's going to be hanging in the hallway, and we're just going to do something to encourage the kids. It will auction off the art. It won't be a lot, but it'll be something nice for the kids to. I'll get it in a second. Something nice for the kids.
Chadwick.
To, be encouraged and create. Be creative. So, please, every Shabbat, bring your children's artwork. It could be whatever, macaroni art, finger paint. Whatever they did, whatever they put together, just bring some artwork so we can auction it off at the Little Lights We Shop. Thank you.
And for those online, if you're planning on texting We Shop, that's WEESHOP. The number is 313-300-5770. That is, again, is 313-300-5770. The old number is no longer working. We Shop, WEESHOP, and you will get vending information.
Somebody is asking about paperwork for having the days off of work. Want them to email us?
Shabbat paperwork, yeah.
Yeah.
Chosen.c, the numeral 1, @gmail.com. Chosen.c, the numeral 1, @gmail.com.
They might have sent. I haven't checked it. I haven't checked in a while, but it's been a minute. Dang.
So all the first quarter questions will be answered
Right.
before the end of the second quarter.
Yeah. For some reason I forgot because I don't have it on my phone no more. But I will check the email this week and return send the paperwork right away. Do? Okay. You got my number? Text me your email. Yep, I'll send it right away.
We're going to pray. We're going to pray. We're going to pray. Pray out. Pray out. Pray out. Pray out. Almighty Yahuwah Elohim, Father, we give you praise and thanks. We thank you again for your goodness, your faithfulness. We thank you for love, life, and strength. We thank you for us being together today, Father, to give us another day to worship you in Ruach and in truth, Father. We pray for those who are going through, Father. We ask for favor on our jobs, Father, favor in our homes, with our neighbors, with any situation, Father, that requires decisions. We just ask for favor for your people. Father, we ask that you just allow us to continue to love one another and to walk uprightly before you, Father. We want us to just learn of your ways, Father, learn of you. We want to just love you more and more each day, Father, to just love you, Father, as you've commanded us to do, Father, with our whole heart, Father, to love our brothers and our sisters. Allow us to forgive, Father, and just to be what you're calling us to be, Father. Protect us as we go to and fro, Father, as our children, Father, during this summertime, Father. Keep us safe, Father, from all hurt, harm, and danger, Father. We thank you for keeping us, Father, from all dangers, seen and unseen, Father. You are wonderful, Elohim, Father. We'll forever give you praise and thanks. We ask and give thanks for all these things through the name and through of Yahushua HaMashiach. So be it.
Our Father,
Our Father,
which is in heaven,
who art in heaven,
hallowed be your name.
hallowed be thy name.
Your kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
your will be done
Thy will be done
on earth
on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread.
and forgive us our
And
debts
forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver
but
us
deliver us
from the evil
from
one.
the evil one.
For yours is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom
and the power,
and the power
and the
and
esteem
the esteem
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it. Hallelujah.